Thanks, guys. Jay Anderson here, coming to you from the Foundation Room at House of Blues, Boston. I am here with Brian from Guster, the Thunder God. Brian, welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And welcome home. Even though you are a New York sports fan, we were just chatting about. We're still happy to have you.
Yes, we're a Boston band. Go Boston sports teams.
So it's the second night of your two-night sold-out stint here at the House of Blues. And I must say you've come a long way from playing basement parties at Tufts, busking in Harvard Square, and even managed to come over to this side of the river.
Yeah, we've been at it a long time, and our humble roots are well documented. Harvard Square busking was kind of the way we developed our band. Got names on the mailing list and made fans one at a time every head of the Charles weekend.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask. It is a hometown show. How many ticket requests have you received?
The guest lists are pretty full. The House of Blues is nice to give us a little extension on our guest list, but every time I play here, it's like last night some guy was like, "Hey, I'm Greg. I used to juggle next to you in the 90s in Harvard Square." I'm like, that's awesome.
It seems like seeing you guys in the early days is such a Boston badge of honor, but the numbers never really add up. I think you're playing basements, 20 people, 30 people, but it seems like there's a billion people who saw you in those formative years. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to add up.
Yeah, we have this demo tape we used to sell in Harvard Square out of the guitar case, and had 4 songs on it, and I think we sold like 4,000 of them, but there's probably like 10,000 people who have told me they have it.
Have you ever checked eBay for any of these 10,000 tapes that are allegedly in existence?
$5 and under, still.
So take us, dig in a little bit more to those early days, maybe pre-parachute, you guys are toiling away. Was there ever a point that you thought maybe this isn't going to work?
I always, it was just something. We were in a dorm room, we were friends, we were writing songs because it was fun. Ryan and Adam were both pre-med at Tufts, and there was not supposed to be anything more than a casual band coming out of this, but by the time we graduated, we had enough of a following in Boston to lead us to think that we could do that in other cities, so we bought a van and gave it a try.
You released Parachute independently. Goldfly, much the same, then Sire stepped in, right, and then sort of helped you out with that one. Lost and Gone Forever comes out, and really the rest seems to be history. Radio comes into play, bigger shows, bigger tours, and after all that success, was there anything you sort of were nostalgic about those early days? Did you miss anything?
When you're touring in a van, you're miserable and tired, and you're sitting next to your bandmate that you're really annoyed by, but you're seeing the country, and you're kind of taking the small roads and having a more connected experience than you do in a tour bus. That was really amazing about spending 4 years driving around in a van, getting to know the country that way.
Was the tour bus the point you knew you had actually made it?
Pretty much every time I step on a tour bus, I still feel this swell of gratitude, oh my God, I get to be on this thing. This is like a dream.
Sure, let's fast forward a little bit up to Evermotion, 2015, first record with Richard Swift, from the keyboardist from the Shins. He's now in the Arcs, Black Keys, etc. What was it like bringing him into the process?
Don't worry about it.
No, I think we should move on to a new one, yeah.
It was great because we were big fans of him, and we didn't have to go through a process of second-guessing him or him proving himself to us. It was more like, we are in your hands, Richard. We came out to Oregon to your home studio because we want your sounds. We want to do this your way.
You could just be really dumb about the arrangement and not overthink it and not get too machismo on it.
As a result, we made the record in 3 weeks, whereas the previous records had taken a year each. So there was less of the micromanaging and more just kind of stepping back from the canvas and getting into Richard's flow.
I read somewhere that every song sort of came to fruition between 3 p.m. and dinner time. What was it about that witching hour that was the sweet spot?
You say witching hours, I say the sober hours, but we got the most focus out of our producer before we hit the Mexican restaurant at 7, and after we got together at 11 a.m., but it was really 3 p.m.
And this is the first time that Luke was sort of actively involved in pre-production writing.
Luke's an incredible musician, and much of the ground we broke on Evermotion is due to Luke and his bass lines and his melodies and what he contributed to songwriting.
And how would you compare your writing process now versus what it might have been, say, 1991? Do you still write in very much the same way, or is it totally different now?
Well, we have all the kids now, so we get together couple days at a time and binge on writing. Whereas when we wrote Lost and Gone Forever in the late 90s, we were living in an apartment in Somerville. We shared a bathroom and a home phone, and we had our instruments set up in the living room. So we'd wake up and we'd just like start playing. You know, when you're in your young 20s, that's something that is appealing to you.
Sure.
And when you're 40, you want to get together a few days a month and work hard.
And when it comes to the business of Guster, what do you think about the state of the industry with streaming and, you know, nobody buying records and having to tour all the time?
We never made a cent on record sales anyway, and streaming is super convenient. I mean, I have it on my phone. I have access to great music at the touch of a finger. I wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, obviously artists are still trying to find any way to get paid, and that's unfortunate because we want them to keep creating. You know, I'm a consumer of music too, so I understand that streaming is awesome. If you go to a concert, buy a t-shirt, that's a great way to help a band.
So if you had to say, you know, one thing to the kids starting out these days about the business.
For us, we got together and we really honed in on songwriting. It was all about writing. You know, we probably played a few covers in the early days. Our original material was where we focused, and over 20-something years, we got good at it.
What else do you think is going to fill up the plate for the rest of the year?
You know, there's some babies coming, so we're going to be off the road for a while in the spring, and I'm hoping we'll get together and write some songs. You know, we've got to look into everyone's schedules, but you know, I think there's another great album in us, and so we need to get together and coax it out of us.
Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Congratulations on another Boston sellout. Everybody at home, head on over to Guster.com to keep up with the guys. I'm sure you'll be posting about the babies, etc., so everybody can keep up. Send cards, send money, send presents.
Thanks, Nesson.
Awesome. Brian, thank you so much. Have a great show. Guys, back to you.